Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Breaking news, James Gunn is writing Superman 2, except he's not writing Superman 2, but it is a movie that features Superman and is a sequel, but it's not Superman 2, but it is Superman 2. Does your brain hurt yet? If it does, welcome to the club, because this is what's going on right now. This guy just manages to confuse everything with everything he says. The dude seriously needs to get the hell off of social media. And what am I talking about here? I'm talking about the fact that the news came out that he is in fact working on Superman Part 2. That he is doing the sequel to the currently released and still in cinemas for you to go and see if you want to, Superman. He got asked this on threads. He responded, then followed up with a response that's weird, which goes on top of another response from earlier this month that was even weirder. And you're just like, wait, what the hell is going on here? So here's the question that someone put on threads that he responded to. Now, they started off by saying very solid advice, James, so I have no idea what they were talking about, but they followed up in this comment saying, now that Superman is out and the press tour is finished, do you have any time to relax? So they're not even asking like, hey, what's the next thing you're working on? So they're literally saying, now that you're done with Superman, have you time to relax? And James Gunn responded and he said, Peacemaker press and sequel writing. Now that's the important part. Sequel writing. So someone chimed in and said this. Now this is where I'm a little lost with this as well. But it says, I'm a little confused right now. Is this the same movie you've talked about in the past? The one where you said Superman had a major role but wasn't exactly a sequel? Or is this a different movie? And this one is actually Superman 2. Gunn responded to that saying, yes, sorry. This is the same movie. Superman has a major role. It's not Superman 2. So here's the question for now then. What sequel is James Gunn writing in the DC universe? Because I don't know if he knows this, and he probably should, being that he's the head of the DCU. There's only one movie so far in the DCU, so the only movie you could possibly be writing a sequel to is fucking Superman, you jackass. But if you weren't confused enough from all of that part that was written, he said this earlier this month when someone wrote, when does Superman 2 come out? James Gunn's response was, define Superman 2. What are you supposed to say to that? Define Superman 2. The only other movie I know of that James Gunn didn't say he was writing, but said, well, I should rephrase that. He is now writing a movie, but he hinted at what that movie could be, or become. The movie is Batman Brave and the Bold. He then starts speaking about how Superman could end up playing a major role in that movie as well. Which is, I did a video on this a while ago, and it was like, oh, you're making the exact same mistake that the DCEU made, was Man of Steel, and you immediately jumped into Batman Superman. And this sounded like they were going to do the same thing. That's the only movie I can think of that Superman would have a major role in that's not a sequel. Yet, it is technically a sequel if Superman is in there, but it's not a sequel. The same way when they put out BVS, there was still talks of Man of Steel 2. Even though BVS is actually a sequel, it's not a 100% sequel. Yous know exactly what we're talking about. Some people don't. James Gunn mustn't. But the fact that he's like, yes, I'm writing a sequel, that is the important part there. To say I'm writing a sequel, that would have to mean, well, you must be talking about Superman 2, because it's the only movie out in the DCU. And it's like, he's backtracking going, oh, no, It's this other movie that Superman has a major role in, but it's not Superman 2. That has to be then the Batman movie that he's working on. Because so far as we're aware, and that he has actually publicly said, the only other movie in the DCU right now that he's writing is Batman Brave and the Bold. So are we actually getting confirmation here that Superman will be a major factor in Batman Brave and the Bold? Meaning we are basically going to get, yet again, the exact same thing that the DCEU did, was your first introduction to your new Batman is going to feature Superman as well. Why would you do that? It makes no sense that you would do that this quickly. You should just have Batman. And the fact that you are struggling to get Batman, and he has admitted that, he said he is finding it hard to crack Batman, which is ridiculous. And it's the case of, if you're struggling to write Batman, here's an idea: don't write fucking Batman. Give it to someone else to actually write the bloody thing. If he's actually talking about Superman 2, like if it is actually Superman 2, here's what I would suggest: don't write it, James Gunn. Actually let someone else write it and let someone else direct it. I don't think at this stage he should have any involvement in those type of movies. The big team ups, let him have it. If he wants to do another Suicide Squad or something like that, let him have it, because we know he works well in those arenas. They are his bread and butter, the crazy team ups. Let him do that, but keep him away from the solo characters, because quite frankly, you can see it yourself when you watch Superman. It's a mess. It is a mess with the amount of characters that he's shoveled in there. But this whole thing of, I'm doing press for Peacemaker and I'm writing a sequel. Someone says, oh, is that Superman 2 or is it another movie? Oh yeah, sorry, it's another movie, it's not Superman 2. And then that thing of, when Superman 2 coming out, define Superman 2. That's so weird. So if you thought this guy knew what he was doing, guess again, because clearly he's done nothing but muddy the waters when it comes to what the hell the DCU is meant to be. And these statements just show you more of the same of this confusing crap of, I'm writing a sequel in the DCU, but it's not Superman, even though that's the only movie we have out, so it would have to be a sequel to that. It does feature Superman, but it's not Superman 2. Work that one out if you can. So, do let me know what you think of all of this, because this is just insanity at this stage. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share and subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out those memberships if you're interested. Some interesting videos on there. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.